try to make sure it doesn't happen.
Hello. Cool color. Cut your hair. No. It looks cute. Thank you. I did it myself. Yours too. Ernesto. I haven't had mangoes in forever. Mangoes. Yeah. Love the taste of them. You just can't. It's one of those things, I don't know.
I knew Rose loved
They're real
those
sticky though.
mangoes.
They're real sticky and messy. Well, I know, it's just the taste. I didn't taste one until I was an adult, so that's probably why. You know, you don't grow up ever tasting something, then it's going to taste strange to you, and I don't know why, but they weren't, you know, Sacramento didn't have the variety of groceries that it does now. When I grew up here, it's kind of like a small city, so that makes sense, you know, that I don't think mangoes were even available here. And they might have been at a specialty store or something, you know what I mean? But not at the grocery store down the street where my mom shopped. Well, I'm glad it's a sunny day instead of a big rainy day. Sure is cold though. The temperature was like 7 degrees colder in my car. That's a lot. Hello, you brought a blanket.
Yeah, I did yesterday.
You are ready. My long coat is like a blanket too.
My blanket's getting fur. I might get my new backpack. They're being away for a while. I'm ready. Actually, never mind. Hold on. Let's see what I got.
What do you do?
I went to the door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm driving there.
Okay. Yeah. If I can't open my email, I should just shut the computer off, right? Yeah. What do you mean you catch it?
Yeah, sometimes it's just a smart.
I logged in, but then there's a place where I go to San Juan, you know, and then they have me log in again, and it wouldn't come up. It was just a white screen. I tried twice.
I think it's trying to refresh the whole thing, refresh.
Hey Chris,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab my jacket. I'll be right back. Just tell if Mr. Wallace comes in, just tell him that I'm getting my jacket.
Okay. I'll shut the thing off.
So you ain't hungry?
I think it's in there. It's also around in there.
Yeah, and
I was, well, see, now I go to San Juan Unified on the internet. It's Google.
each time
I
I
pushed in San Juan Unified and it went to San Juan Unified. My actual
Some
email.
websites aren't working, some are.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. It's amazing, you guys, technology. I did not do well in typing class when I was here at Rio. We did not have computers, we typed. And I didn't do well in typing.
You had a
or
typewriter?
Spanish. Yeah, we had a room full of typewriters, and I sat there, and we looked at them, and I played the piano, so I read music, but I never, what got me about typing was that the alphabet was not in order. Who decided to make the keys what they are? It did not make any sense to me, and I couldn't. I got like a D- at typing, and I got A's and everything else, and I still can't type. So there, you guys are lucky that
They're in
you
order.
grow up with this. You don't even worry about it.
Typewriters are awesome.
I know most people are good at
I'm trying to build my computer.
it. I went to dental college. And I had to pass a lot of classes, and one of them was typing, and I was literally there. I was the last student at college, and my teacher kept saying, if you don't get 40 words a minute, you're not going to graduate. And until the last 10 minutes of the last day of school, I finally got 40 words. And so I passed it. Yeah, everything else I got 80. Typing, just my brain and these keys don't work.
The numbers have been really hard, and if you know, you weren't used to that one.
Yeah, I know. If you grow up with it, see, and you guys have. And I didn't, because it was like a class you took, you know. Computers were not part of the day at all. You know, the only thing closest to that was the TV, the phone, the radio. Can you imagine a world without computers?
Yeah, they donated it. They donated it too much. Ankles are freezing. I think I might get some bands this week. I don't know. Depends on what it looks like on my feet. Oh yeah, who was following you, Mr. Wallace?
Thank you, Chris.
No meaning as long as you follow it.
So,
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for telling me about it for free.
Thank you for telling you about what?
My task.
Nick, you make a great assassin, you know that?
Well, how else would I
Well,
communicate?
no, you
with that?
were gonna wait, and I wouldn't have had it done.
Oh, gotcha.
And I did look at all of those on Q, and I'm 99.9% positive that those are all correct.
I need 99.999.
999, yeah, that's the percent, because I literally looked them over 2 or 3 times to make sure, because
No
it's
worries.
sure. I looked at the schedule, I was ready to receive. That's it.
Yeah, I got chocolate cake.
What? You're a chocolate kid? You're a chocolate. I prefer cheesecake.
I can't have cheesecake. Cheesecake is so bomb. Cheese.
There's a lot.
No, cheesecake.
We have a bomb.
Cheesecake. When I was little, I used to every time I did cheesecake, I used to throw it up.
We gotta run from the cheesecake.
So good. Homemade cheesecake. My dad.
There you go. That's the time, so rush over there. All right. How you guys doing today?
What?
Oh, I thought it was a Cheeto.
Damn.
I was gonna ask for one.
Repeat, yeah, he was.
Yeah, sure, you can have a
Those
Cheeto.
are carrots.
You carrot.
Quick, turn off the lights. I want to see if you can see better. Okay.
What?
Turn off the lights.
Wait, you don't have night vision, dog.
Carrots improve your night vision. Dog.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
It's good for your eyes.
Bookie.
Stop.
Oh, then don't call me dog, dog.
Why not, bro?
Hey, Bookie Wookie.
What the?
That's my next
He's my
project.
Bookie Wookie.
It's like you see a baby. Hi, Bookie Bookie.
Okay, you all have work to do except for Bookie Wookie. He can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready? We're back to this.
Shut up.
Put away your.
Ooh, small burden.
Ooh.
Damn.
Would you stop that? You know I hate that word.
What?
Yeah, shut up. I don't want to hear you two guys.
Did you get in trouble for saying shut up when you were a kid? Because I sure did.
I do
Yeah.
still.
The bad. It's not
I just don't
nice
like
word.
it. It's a, you know, it's funny. You know, there's just certain
It's
words,
funny.
and it's just.
I tell Angel to shut up all the time. She's annoying. You know that stupid saying you say you like, I forgot it now.
Hey, like them apple?
No. When Brandon came in here, she
Mr.
said,
Wallace,
"Did you say that
Daichi is
thing?"
here. He checked in. He's over himself.
Shabalaba.
Oh, Pamela Shimley?
Yeah, she said that all the time.
She does?
Yes, it's
Ah!
annoying. And then we argue. No, it's not Hamala Shimley. Shimley Hamala. No, it's Hamala Shimley. And then she just.
No, the response is Shimley Hollow.
That's what I told
That's
her.
the response.
Yeah, she's like, no, it's not. It's Hamala Shimley.
So I used to use, you know how I will call, hey, let's put away the cell phones, please. Thank you. Except for Ernesto, he's my Bookie Wookie.
Oh my
Yeah.
No, okay, or no alarm.
I used to call, I still do call people ding pods. So it was, now, there was a former student of mine, and her sister was like the head cheerleader here, right? I didn't know her sister, I hadn't met her yet. And one day this girl comes in and she says, excuse me, are you Mr. Wallace? And I said, yeah. She goes, could you please explain to me what ding pod means? And she's like looking kind of angry, and I started laughing, you know? And I'm like, okay, obviously she's heard this. And I'm like, and who are you? She goes, I'm so-and-so's sister. And I'm like, ah. And I know that her sister used to always use ding pod.
Smells weird.
So,
It smells like dog food.
you're having him sniff your granola bar. It's just all kinds of weird.
I would know the dog, Mr. Wallace, you know that?
So anyway, it was funny. I said, oh, it's just a term I use. It's just like, dork kind of thing. Like, it's just kidding around. I said, the kids are welcome to use it to refer to me. I call them ding pods. They call me ding pod. He goes, okay, because every night at the dinner table, she calls everyone a ding pod. Calls my dad a ding pod, my mom and me a ding pod, and we're like, my mom asked, where did you learn this word? Mr. Wallace, what does it mean? I don't know. Well then, so they asked, and so now, I know the mom. I get along really well with the mom. And the mom came in and was like, was my daughter so-and-so here? And I said, oh yeah. And she started laughing. I go, oh yeah, she gave it to me too, man. The what for? And she goes, I told her to just calm down. I said, no, that's cool. That was funny. Anyway. We're back to this. So before we start this, I want to go over some basic concepts, make sure that you guys understand them. What was that? That looks really good, whatever you're eating, by the way.
Oh no, someone donated it to me.
It's not, what's up, bro?
It's kind of good.
Okay. Did someone just walk in?
Oh,
I'm sensing that someone just walked in.
your favorite student.
Hi. What's up?
Talk to me.
You here to take a test for what?
Don't you barely notice that?
Why are you in here to take a test for Barlow's? Go back to Barlow's and take it. Go.
I knew that he was talking.
You can take a test, but I want you to go back because it's going to be we're going to be talking too much. You don't need to take it in here. This class is already modified. Go. Hey, Austin, it is good to see you though.
Yeah, we miss you. We
Yeah.
don't miss you. He's just saying.
There's going to be too much talking. We're going to be doing discussion. I want you to be able to
Take your time.
concentrate.
Leave up.
Okay? He just flipped me off. That was awesome. You can flip me off anytime, Wookie Wookie. You're golden. Goods, products,
Michael K.
resources,
Ellis.
production,
Stop it. Wait.
It's not. It's in the box.
It doesn't come in the box.
Yes, it does.
It
It's in the
does.
square box.
Yes, it
What
does.
is it?
It does. You have one? What? I've seen those before in the box. What? At the mall. What? Or in Nestle Talk.
Okay, shut it down, please. Adam Smith. Who is Adam Smith?
A person.
Good.
Yeah. Native American.
When did he write
The top.
his very important document addressing free and open markets?
Wasn't it like 7?
1776.
You know what? Nice job, Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole.
You said 17, yeah. And I didn't ask any one particular person, so you guys blurted out. Perfect, 1776. Why should you remember that date, Libby?
It was a day or something of America.
Independence Day.
Boom.
Yeah.
Same date, the same year, excuse me, the same year that America gained its independence, Adam Smith, and listen, understand this. Our independence from England was entirely based on economic reasons. Almost entirely. Religious freedom and stuff, that isn't what the battles were fought over. There's a small group here that wanted religious freedom. They glommed onto it. It was entirely. Here's a corollary one might argue with today's politics. The GOP, the extreme Christian right element of the GOP, is a small element of it. But it's really about the economy that the ideological battles between the GOP and the Dems are fought over. They're all arguing, they're all wanting the same thing, prosperity. But they're looking at different ways of getting it. Okay? So, Adam Smith was a proponent, someone who advocated for a free and open market. Let the market determine costs. Don't regulate. The market will take care of it itself. The idea being, now you have to remember too, this is a time when businesses were much smaller. The business models, the paradigm was very different. So if someone was creating problems for the society at large, there could be economic repercussions. We're not going to buy their product. We're not going to work for them. That still applies today. But when you have major corporations and you have monopolies, it's like, hey, you don't like the way I do business? Quit. You cost me $10 an hour. I don't care. Quit. You know what? There's some other Joe or Jane who's going to come in right behind you and take this job. Okay? Now, when people will listen is when there's a critical mass. But, oftentimes, people in power bank on this. They bank on the masses not organizing or not knowing how to wield their power. And it's all tied to the economy, guys. The inability to organize is tied to the economy. Okay? If you're busy trying to pay your bills and working, and are you going to have time to go and attend a rally or a protest? You know, maybe, maybe not. But it could affect that. You have time to study things, and people who are busy working may not be going to school. They may not know how to organize. Can you learn it on your own? Sure. But if you're dealing with the stress of surviving, that might be difficult to do, or you may not want to do it. Shit, I'm tired. It's the end of the day. I don't want to go and attend the rally. I don't want to go and look this stuff up. I just want to eat and then go to bed. Okay? So these things take effort. takes effort to change, takes effort to contribute to an economy. The other thing too is your belief in an economy. Is the system that exists, is it worth having? Does it need to be changed? But what this is about right here is understanding the system. So yesterday I drew gas station. You guys see I added this. That's probably hard to read. So I'm going to change this. Gas station. Okay? So we got this, and I need to finish this. Excuse me, guys. Please. Thank you. What? I said, excuse me. I would like to, when I turn, and then I turn back, and you both look at me. I'm wondering if you're paying attention to this, or if you're paying more attention. Okay, thank you. That's all I want. Don't respond like that. Okay? Because that's annoying. And right now, the only one who is free from my wrath
He did that.
is my Phuket. Hey, he didn't do anything. He's golden. He's innocent. He's my Bookie Wookie. Bookie Wookie. I love you. No, I'm sorry. I love you. Now shut up. All right. Okay, hey guys. He can't, you know what? The intensity of my burning love for him is overwhelming him. He's parched. Go ahead, get some water. You know, while you're out there, go off campus and run around.
Go to McDonald's.
Hey, back to this. I need to finish. Hey guys, I need to close the circle.
Lose some weight.
Okay? Are you telling me to lose?
No.
Hey, don't. Yeah, don't. That's nice.
I'm wondering if that could hurt some.
Okay?
That's just not nice.
No. You're right. Sometimes he can be not nice, but
Well, you don't say
don't do that.
That was mean.
Because I didn't hear him say something mean to you,
That's so.
right?
Yeah.
What did he say? Did he like attack your physical appearance?
What?
Did he attack your physical
Maybe.
appearance? Well, he either did or he didn't. So don't do that. Back to this. I need to close the circle, all right? So we have the consumer. Libby, so you've made money, and obviously you might need to go to the store. Where else might you go at the end of the week? It's Friday.
Bank. The clothes store.
The club. The club. What kind of club?
I was gonna say the record
Mango.
store, but okay.
The what?
Record store.
Okay, we got record
Not the
store.
club, not the club.
The mango store.
Record store. Where else might one go besides a record store?
Club shopping.
Wait. You said club. Hey, what kind of clubs are there?
They're mango.
What kind of clubs are there?
Dance club.
Okay, so there's the dance. What other kind of clubs are there? Where's the one where me and your parents hang out?
The gym.
The gym.
Oh my god.
So you got what's called a health club. What other kinds of clubs are there?
That's where you take the
Drama.
Bars. That's going to fall under the category of clubs. Okay, so the club is done. We got the record store. What other kinds of stores that don't sell groceries might you guys go to? So I'm going to write the word. This is grocery, and most people's, by the way, depending on their income level, most people, most of their money is spent on groceries. And that's where, other than rent. We're talking about besides rent and utilities, most money, for most people, I'm not saying all people, most people spend it on groceries. Even the rich. If they don't eat groceries, they're probably eating out. When they're eating out, they're probably eating at really nice places. And so if you look at, I don't know if you guys have seen the data, but how many of you guys have a checking account or savings account? Checking account especially. Okay, on your checking account, when you get your statement, you get a pie chart.
Yeah.
Right? And that pie chart, now for you it may be different because you're not having to maintain a house. Okay? But what's most of your spending on? And it doesn't say groceries, and actually, I believe the pie chart, at least mine, says food. Okay, is it mostly food?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's common, that's not unique, okay? But besides this, and that's why I put the star here, because that's where a lot of the spending goes, where do we go?
The
What other
mall.
kinds of stores? Okay, so we got the mall. What else? Oh, you said record? What else? What other kind of stores do people go?
Shoe store.
The shoe store? I'm gonna say the shoe store. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna draw a tendril off of the mall shoe. What else?
Bike store.
Who knows the rest of it?
Oh, the car.
Bike? What's that?
The car.
Who goes? People. That's why they exist. Even if you don't. That wasn't an ooh. Stop that bookie wookie. Okay? No, no, listen. But it exists, right?
Yeah.
And so it means, look, when something exists, it does a couple things. One, how does that affect the consumer, the fact that bike stores exist? How does it affect you guys, whether you go there or not?
You pay taxes on it.
You'll still pay taxes on it, very good. But you could also benefit from it. How?
By getting a bike.
And if a bunch of them exist,
How do we pay taxes on the bike store?
how? Well, think about it. Excuse me. This is good. How do we pay taxes on a bike
It's not a
store?
government service.
Wait a minute. How do we pay taxes on a bike store? Okay, question. What services are provided to you by the government?
Transportation. School.
But not the bike.
What else? Well, hold on. You asked the question. I'm letting the class answer this for you. What other services do you get?
A job,
No.
you get welfare,
What other services do you get?
food stamps.
For what?
What service? Okay, so you're yelling. You're good. Those are services. You're right. Okay. What services do you guys get through your taxes? You get things like schools. What else?
Tax return. When you're.
You get things like schools. What else? Someone said transportation. So you get road. You get police. You get fire. Okay. The more entities that exist, the more need there is for quantity of service. The more services that are provided, the more of your taxes are being dedicated to it, or the more taxes you're paying.
Okay.
So every little thing, look, you are a tax burden for me, potentially. The fact that you exist. You guys are a tax burden on the state of California to the tune of, I believe, $6,800. Every single student. That's why they want you guys here every day. Every single student gets a school, a money amount.
That's why they make it a big deal. When we don't come
Yeah.
to school.
Absolutely. ADA money. Every day you guys are here, the school, if you aren't here, the school doesn't get that money from the state at the end of the year. So it's,
Oh, imagine.
yeah,
So what is basically all that?
okay?
That's why they complain.
Well,
That's why we don't have a lot of money.
that's one of the reasons. Well, one might say, hey, we have enough so that people got ready, Libby.
Well, we did spend $15 million on the banner.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, wait a minute, but where did that money come from?
Yeah, Libby.
Came from a source of money that all schools were given.
How did they
And each school, well, hold on, it came from fundraising too. All schools were given, and it was earmarked. You guys know what earmarked means?
No.
Means it's dedicated to one thing. So if I get $10 million to spend at Rio, but it's earmarked on projects, I can't buy pencils and stuff like that with it. Now, you might sit there and say, that's BS. That seems unfair. Regardless, it's earmarked money. So the project for Rio was the PAC. Another project, and then some of that money, Rio got their cut of the money, was about, I believe, $15 million, $20 million, something like that. So the PAC took up, now remember, PAC is for everyone at school, it's supposed to be. Also, new PE, new locker rooms, And the fields, you guys notice the fields?
Yeah, hopefully they'll fix the field.
All of the fields, well, they will be. All of the fields in the district,
They need to put AstroTurf on.
all of the fields are getting turf.
Because we have such a gopher problem.
Yes, we do.
You mean complete turf where the grass is?
Yes.
All of the fields, all the playing fields are being turfed.
Alright, how you gonna play football?
I can't believe I'm like that. We
Uh-huh.
can't do
Times
that.
have changed.
Yeah.
That's
Almost
terrible.
all of
We
the,
have such a gopher problem because the gophers live.
I believe
Okay,
yeah.
but back to this, does that make sense now?
Gophers.
So,
Yeah,
the more
because there's
businesses
more
there are,
businesses, so there's an extra sheriff or extra fire.
boom, and it's going out to that, and it's, now, do the businesses add to the revenue base of a city? That's how it affects us. It might benefit us. Hey, the more businesses there are in our neighborhood, probably the better the schools will be supplied. Probably.
Yeah, cause more money for school.
Well, it could be. Because if people are being employed. See, that's why, how cities work, how cities are. If you guys think about this, think about all the people that commute into downtown Sacramento, okay? You guys know anything about city schools?
No.
City high schools?
No.
So some of them are considered really crappy.
Like Grant?
Yeah, and that's, I believe Grant, I think that's in the city limit, they may be in the county, but Grant's not part of the Sacramento City Unified School District. So the schools are Kennedy, used to be Sac High, that's now St. Hope Academy, they're a charter. Kennedy, it's a high school,
John F. Kennedy?
uh-huh.
Oh.
Burbank High School,
Senior high?
Rosemont?
Encina is not, they're in the San Juan Unified. Rosemont, though Rosemont is in the county.
Well, I almost went there. That's why.
Okay,
Why
right.
don't you go there then?
Excuse me, would you please stop?
I got the.
Okay.
Scores,
Stop.
state standards, supposed to be. And-
Guys.
What high school?
Now, I want you guys to think about this. I don't know if you guys know the El Dorado Hills, okay? You guys know the El Dorado Hills? You know the El Dorado Hills? Have you guys ever been up there?
No.
Okay, so for those of you who've been up there, are they nice?
Yeah.
The communities in the El Dorado? Have you ever been to the high schools in the El Dorado Hills? Oh, okay. They're really nice.
Everyone healed.
The El Dorado Hills, yeah.
The rich, huh?
Are they rich? Well,
Yeah, it's not bad.
to generalize, yes. There's a huge, now, I wanna point some, let me finish this. Here's the thing, there's probably a lot of people who live in the El Dorado Hills, and all you have to do is travel on Highway 50 early in the morning or about 5 o'clock that work in Sacramento. Imagine what the city schools would be like if the people who lived in the El Dorado Hills lived in the downtown area, within the city limits. Think of the revenue base, the taxes.
It'd be higher, huh?
It'd be higher. Do you think the parents of the kids who go to Oak Ridge High and Folsom High and these nice high schools, what's the other one, Granite Bay High, do you think that they would find the conditions at their kids' schools in the city
No.
acceptable?
No.
Do you think they have political clout?
No.
You don't think they have political power?
Yeah,
Why?
so you have more money.
Because they have, and the question is, should they? If they're paying into something like, if I'm in a school district and I'm paying taxes and 35% of my taxes go, I better see something for it. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Wallace,
Yes?
that's like, we're giving you guys taxes, why can't we get taxes for going to school? I ain't waiting on the
You
morning.
going to school gets you a good job. You need your diploma.
So I'm not gonna speak for you, Ernesto, you guys are the beneficiaries of the tax dollars that the state gets. So if you get a free lunch here, whether you like it or not,
Free.
you're the beneficiary of somebody else's, of somebody else's taxes. This school, regardless of what you think of it, everything that's here that you get, me, Pookie, is that you're benefiting from somebody's tax dollars. You guys following me here? You know, you benefit by the roads that you drive over to get here. If you take a bus, you're the beneficiary of tax. So when you say, why don't we get it? You do get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? And the $6,900 or whatever it is that the school gets, it's supposed to be for you guys, which goes into, what's that?
6,900.
It comes out to about around $7,000 a day. I could be wrong one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay? But see, every school gets it, and so that's why people get really mad when there are some schools that are really crappy. Because it's like, well, we should all benefit from this, so why aren't we, like, instead of, now, school districts, school districts are really interesting microcosms, right? They're these tiny environment that it's supposed to be public. You guys following me here? And like all of the monies that a state gets is supposed to be distributed equally. Now, it's not. It's distributed equitably. So if a school really needs something, they're supposed to get extra money. And then the federal government gets involved. Have you guys ever heard of something called a Title I school?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give me an example of a Title I school?
I have no money.
Okay, Grant High School, Encina High School, San Juan High School, Mesa Verde High School. These are all Title I schools. To make it as a Title I school, so as a teacher at a Title I school, here's an example. If I commit to teaching at a Title I school, I can have my well, I don't know if it still exists, but there's something called an Apple grant. And I could have my educational debt cleared, but the government would release me of it if I committed to teaching for 3 years in a Title I school. Okay, I paid off my own educational debt. I wanted to come to Rio.
Why is there debt?
What?
Why is there debt?
Why is there debt? Why would a teacher incur debt? Because college is not free. And especially graduate school. Some colleges are a lot less expensive, like a community college. But if you want to go to if you want to get a graduate degree, it's going to cost a lot of money. And I didn't get good enough grades as an undergraduate to get a scholarship. And I didn't apply for the grants. I couldn't because I was working, so I didn't qualify for them. So I had to incur debt. Okay, but I was lucky, I paid it off. But I had breaks too, guys. I was the beneficiary of a loving mother who let me live in her duplex, and all I had to do was pay for the cost of the duplex and not rent at the time that I was going to school.
Where do you work?
You know, so I was like, I worked here in Rio. Before that, I wasn't living at home. Before that, I was living at home and I was paying rent. Living in the same thing. But when I said, hey, I'm going to go to school, as I teach at school, my mother said, okay, well, you don't have to pay the rent. Here's what you can do. I'm going to help you out. Well, I'm going to charge you. Here are my taxes. Here's water and sewer. Here's the taxes. I'm going to factor this out over the year. This is what you can pay me each month. So while I went to school, I only paid that amount, so it didn't cost her anything. But she wasn't making any income. Okay? All of these things here. Oh, hey, we forgot. School. Right? Besides school, we got L. What does L stand for? M and HS. We got elementary. We got middle.
High school.
We got high school. And then we also got,
College. Pre-K.
college. Hey, are colleges and universities tied directly? Even if they're private, Harvard, is that tied to the economy?
Yeah.
We talked about that yesterday. Okay, back to this. What other stores? We got bike store. We got a record store. We got a mall that has a shoe store. What else? What other stores do you guys go to? Does anybody here live somewhere where you don't have a washer and dryer? And if you don't have a washer and dryer, where do you go?
The laundromat.
Laundromat.
Somewhere around the world.
You go to the bathroom and you put your clothes in the coat and sink,
Yeah, getaway dog.
and you hang it in the backyard.
There you go.
You know, struggle.
All right, Gene. What else? What other stores do you guys go to?
Forever 21, which is in the
I go to the
Mall. Okay, so you got shoe, you got clothing, and all of the different types of clothing stores. What else?
The outlets.
Pharmacy.
In the mall.
Guys, the pharmacy is, excuse me, pharmacy is huge. I went to go get my shot,
no, they lie to me.
my flu shot, and I was sitting there, I didn't get it at the hospital.
No, I'm so paranoid I don't go get flu shots because I don't know if they clean the needles or not.
They use a fresh needle.
That's so sad. And so, I went to Bel Air, and I was sitting there, and during the time that I sat there, I was astounded by how many people were picking up prescriptions. Just astounded, and I was thinking like, when I hear, and they, I mean, I don't know their conditions, their situations. A whole bunch of them look like very healthy to me. Maybe because of their pharmacy.
It could have been Molly, Percocet.
Yeah, they're getting Molly at a freaking pharmacy.
You don't know?
No, they didn't get Molly from a pharmacy. You get that off the street, son.
Xanax.
What else? What other stores?
Oxycontin.
What other stores? There's 2 or 3 more.
First store.
Econ.
Okay, hold on. You guys are, here's a hint. You guys ready for this? Here's a hint. Besides grocery store, where were you trying to say food store?
She's playing with her bag.
Besides grocery stores, where else do people get
Convenience
food?
store.
Okay, convenient.
Fast
Nice.
food?
Restaurants. Okay?
Food, see, that's where you get groceries.
Convenience, and then we got, that's a whole other, hold on. Okay, and we're gonna end with this, rest. Rest is restaurants, and under restaurants, there's a whole bunch. Remember, what's the biggest slice of the pie for people's budgets? Food. So food isn't what you just buy at the grocery store.
That's where you can get everywhere.
It's when you go to Applebee's, Arby's. Let me ask you guys this. How many of you guys ate out this week? Or had food from a restaurant brought to you by a parent? How many? You did. No? This week? Nico?
Yeah.
Raise your damn hand then.
Samantha, didn't
Quit hiding back there.
you have food from a restaurant?
Yeah?
What do you guys do?
That's a restaurant. How about you? Raise your dang hand. I ate McDonald's. Did you eat from McDonald's?
I have chicken.
So just about everybody here,
No.
I said just about everybody, there
Well,
are
he's
2
asking
people.
his opinion. Shut up.
Okay, Vanessa, please. You're making this really difficult because you know I can't correct you. You know I can't discipline you because you're my little guilty.
Oh my God.
But don't disrupt me because then you're gonna make me sad. Don't make me sad.
First.
Don't make me sad. I love you.
Seems like the fluid.
So most of you guys ate out during the, now here's the thing, guys. Question. All of you guys who said you ate out did you eat out last week? Did you? Yes, you did.
I don't remember.
I remember you telling me
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
That food was brought home from various places.
I can't remember because there's so much going on right now. I had
What
Subway
the
yesterday,
hell?
I had Subway last week, I had,
Really?
yeah, really.
Oh, well then, you lied.
I didn't realize I had it yesterday, actually.
Okay. Then you
And I had
forgot.
October beans.
Okay.
I don't know.
So basically, all but one person.
What's your
I'm sorry, I just.
You don't have to apologize.
Yes.
Yeah, you do have.
I didn't eat out this
Hey,
week.
Trevor. So, bruh.
Did you eat out this week?
What's up, bro?
Hey,
Yeah,
Trevor,
he did.
When are you gonna come back to class again? I miss
He
you.
did.
Yeah, I'm listening.
He ate out today.
Who?
Or he talked about today. Remember, he had chicken strips from Popeyes.
Popeyes, them chicken strips is so dry.
Okay, this isn't what we're here to talk
We're
about.
okay with your opinion. Complain to them then.
It's fake chicken.
Ernesto, would you do me a favor? Would you go for a walk?
Yeah.
No, a bookie walk. Okay?
Don't bring it back.
No, leave. Just take a walk.
No, you're not coming back then. Why are you taking me back
You're
then?
not gonna come back?
Oh, Miss Leather's here, so.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Hey, tell her I said hi.
She is? No, she's not. Yes, she is. No,
She's
not.
here.
No, she's not.
Okay. All right, back to this. Have a nice day. Hey, have a wonderful weekend.
Put your pants up.
Leave me alone.
He has a belt on his pants side.
Yeah, and it's fake.
No, it's not.
Back to this,
I'm
please.
just kidding.
So restaurants, okay? Now, let's just take a restaurant because a restaurant will represent a microcosm of everything else.
What about where you go for your medical? That's what we also need too.
Hospitals? Oh, that's a hell of
And
a
for
point.
babies, surgeries,
Hospital, med sevens, medical care, urgent
What about
care
firefighters?
The
facilities.
same thing as
Oh, that's a really good point.
firefighter,
Fire,
ambulance,
paramedic.
ambulance.
police. Here's the thing about ambulances. Ambulances are privately owned.
Yeah.
Now, some fire departments have paramedics that can transport you. Some hospitals have but most ambulances that you see, if they're not attached to a fire department, are privately
You
owned.
know what's
They're private, but it's a service.
So are they like the ambulance that they, like, I mean, so the ambulance are like the firefighters, like they have a fire station?
What about-
they have-
So firefighter, I don't know this exactly. Firefighters, okay, there's a difference. When someone comes and treats you, there's a difference between a paramedic and an EMT. An EMT is an emergency medical technician, okay? I believe that most people who are part of the private ambulance industry are EMTs. When a firefighter comes out and there's an ambulance attached to it, same colored vehicle as all the other firefighting, they're typically paramedics. They can do more. For example, I believe they can perform a tracheotomy where an EMT wouldn't. You guys know what a trach is?
No.
That's where if you're not breathing, you have an obstructed airway, they can cut into your throat and place a tube called a trach tube so that you can breathe and live. Okay? So there was a football player, I believe his name was Michael Barrow. He was playing for the Detroit Lions in the early 1990s. He had his neck broken in a football game. And then all of a sudden there were people who were surrounding him. There were people surrounding him who were blocking the view of like the cameras because the cameras trained on him, right? And they were performing a trach on him. They had to cut open his throat and stick it to so he could breathe because his spinal cord was broken. So the impulses from his brain to his lungs to say breathe were cut off because his neck was broken so badly.
What happened to him?
So he was a quadriplegic, and then later he died from conflict. Not that he lived quite a few years afterwards,
Kind of like
and then later he probably got pneumonia at some point, and that happens to many quadriplegics.
they can't move.
They can't move, and so they end up, dying of pneumonia. Okay, he didn't die that day, but he almost did, and they had to trach him that day. They said it's very, very scary. Very scary because another football player from the Lions during the same era, Mike Utley, got his neck broken. He's still a quadriplegic. He lived. He's still alive today.
Is that another one from vegetable?
What's that? Well, vegetable is a harsh word to call it, but I mean, to answer your question, quadriplegic means all four of your limbs cannot move.
So you have damage to the spinal cord, then everything from that point down, generally, if it's severe damage.
Yeah.
You have no control or no feeling, or you may have pain. But the person who's a quadriplegic still has the same brain they had before the accident.
Right.
They still think the same. They may have trouble speaking though because of vocal cords or something, right? So all
Yeah, breathing.
on whatever.
Some
is
have
right
to
there.
have their breathing as assisted because it's what happens is your spinal cord. So your backbone, that's where your spinal column is. That's your backbone. All the vertebrae represent your spinal column, and running through there are nerves. It's like a highway, interstate of nerves. And those nerves spread out all over your body. And so your brain sends impulses through those nerves to different parts of your body, tells them to do what they need to do. So if you have those impulses cut off to all of the muscles that are required for breathing, you won't be able to breathe. And so you have to live on a respirator, okay?
you'll sometimes find quadriplegics will have a scar on their neck. Because now sometimes they can regain some functions, but like right when it happens, oftentimes in a car accident, you know, if they cannot detect breathing and you're still alive, you still have impulses, like your eyes are blinking, whatever. Like what happened to Michael Barrow on the football field, he was like looking and all of a sudden he was like clearly in distress through his eyes and he realized he can't breathe. And we can't help him breathe. So they tricked him so that he could breathe, right? So, but ambulances, so these are services, so I'm gonna stop here. And I want you guys to look at, right now what I want you guys to consider is you have all of these bullets. And I want you guys to look at this mess. I want you to understand, hopefully, how all of these bullets apply to this mess. Adam Smith, this guy in 1776, he's an economist, and he was someone who was an advocate. Now, he's important because he was an advocate of our capitalist society. He wasn't saying anything new. He was promoting the European industrial kind of doctrine of, and here's where it's complicated, and here's where it's like, it becomes so like politically charged, is that you have to understand, what's the study of economics? What's the study of economics?
Physical wants and needs unlimited.
Well, you had all of the right words, but it was in some screwed up order. I can't make sense of it. Unlimited wants and needs in competition with what?
Limited resources.
Limited resources, okay? So here's the deal. Europe had very limited resources. Thus, the age of exploration, were they just simply curious about the world? If you guys took world history from Barlow, you should know this question. Were they curious about the world?
Yeah.
No.
They wanted more resources.
They wanted more resources. That's why they colonized. And that's where things become complicated. So when Adam Smith is advocating, let the market determine, well, he's also advocating for, businesses should be able to do what they do. They should be left alone. Now, leaving them alone might be the same as saying this, Nico. Allow them to exploit their resources. And of course, what do we know about resources? What does that mean? What's a resource? Libby, give me one type of resource. Okay, so exploit water. What else? What's another resource? Tell you what, water is part of natural resources, so to exploit. And that doesn't mean everybody exploits and damages, but everyone has to consume, right? If you're a business, you have to consume natural resources. You have to. Now, what else might you exploit? And this is the politically charged aspect of economics. What other resources are there besides natural resources?
Artificial one.
Yeah, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. What is probably listen, I got this beautiful factory and I got this beautiful machinery and everything shiny and new, and I got plenty of electricity to run it, and I got all these toys being ready. I'm going to fill the void of Toys R Us. They're going to close, right? And I'm going to start producing toys. I got all the natural resources I need. What can I not do if I don't have this one resource? What's the resource? What? Boom. If I don't have laborers, if I don't have administrators, if I don't have people packing stuff, people shipping stuff, people transporting stuff. And that's where economics becomes complicated because people are involved. And as we know, people are very multifaceted. And also people consume. And people's consumption are based on their own personal whims and beliefs. So when you guys look at this, I want you guys to look at the people. See all these bullets right here? I want you guys to think about this in the context, this mess in the context of these bullets. So if I point to something, okay? Here, I'm gonna point to something right now. What am I pointing to, Andrew?
The road.
The road. What do we call that? Look at these bullets. What's the road? Is the road production?
Transportation.
Infrastructure.
You know what? You're right. The road is transportation, but transportation isn't one of these bullets. The road, transportation exists because of infrastructure. And if we're not using roads, what's the other infrastructure? What has to exist? Well, if we don't use roads, how else do we get goods moving from one place to another? What? Boats. What are the infrastructure that affect boats?
Waterways.
Water isn't an infrastructure. Okay, waterways, and what else? The boats arrive where?
Harbor.
Harbors. You have harbor masters. You have harbor police. You have, did you guys ever go to Oakland before? Any of you been to Oakland? No, you haven't been to Oakland? Anybody here been to Oakland? Okay, if you go to Oakland, one of the things you'll notice about Oakland, especially when you're taking the 580 and you split off from the the Bay Bridge, and you start heading towards Oakland and then maybe make your way over towards San Jose and stuff, is you'll see all these like big towers. Big metal towers. Those are all cranes. They're massive. And they load and unload the ships that come into the harbor there. Infrastructure, road represents, so when I point to the roads and I talk about the economy, you would say infrastructure. Now, here's where transportation comes in. What infrastructure is supported, or what industry or aspect of the economy is supported by infrastructure, like roads? That'd be transportation. What do you need for transportation to exist? Devin, I'm asking you. What do you need for transportation to exist? I got a truck. I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden my truck stops. Oops!
Yeah.
Some gas.
You need gas. So what's the transportation infrastructure that the economy must supply in order for transportation to take place?
The gas station.
Thank you. Gas stations. Okay? And associated to the gas stations, you guys ever been to a gas station?
Yes.
Alright, do they only sell gas?
No.
What else do they sell?
Snacks.
Oh, they sell snacks. There's food attached to it. So these other things spring up because of an industry like transportation. What else springs up? Besides foods, what else can you get at a gas station?
Beer.
You get beer. What else can you get?
Cards.
What's that?
Cards.
You say cards?
Yeah. Like cards, like maybe phone calls, stuff like that.
So all of a sudden, this one industry has become part of another industry, right? And that begets another industry. All right, so when I point to refineries, what am I talking about? What am I talking about when I'm talking about refineries? So look right here at the bullets. Look at the bullets. What does that fall under?
Production.
Very good. Explain to people why it falls under production, why a refinery. When I'm talking about a refinery, I'm talking about production.
Because it refines the oil from the refiners of the port.
Very good. Okay? And the oil relates to which economy, which aspect of our economy? Say it, Samantha. You said it earlier. T word.
Transportation.
Transportation. If you want to call it shipping, you can call it shipping. Okay? Here, I'm going to point right here. Hopefully you guys can read it. What bullet is this? Hey, and sometimes these things are more than one bullet. I just pointed to a worker. Look at that box. Look at the bullets. What bullet is that? Or bullets? It's capital. What kind of capital, Nicole? Human capital. What other bullet is it? What other bullet?
I want to say it, but I don't want to be wrong.
You know what, Nicole? Don't be afraid of being wrong. is supposed to be a C. Alex Smith is a person. Getting too literal. What other bullet does it represent? Okay, I said this earlier. Let me tie it back to the first thing I asked about the toy store. The toy store can't exist without this, which falls under what category? Yes, it falls under human capital. It also falls under another. People aren't goods. Well, they can be. They talk about sex trafficking. They can be. And that's one of the tragedies of the world, too. That there's economies that exist because of that. Because of consumer demand. Sometimes a lack of regulation, especially if you're in a third world country, this economy exists. And sometimes that economy is exploited by people from other economies who benefit from other economies. It's reality. Thank you. People are a resource. You need natural resources. You also need human resources. Okay? Anything else? Well, how does that worker, if a truck needs gas, what does a worker need? If the truck needs gas to run, what does a worker need to run? Don't say shoes. Yeah?
They need, money to get gas.
They need money to get gas. And what are they going to use with that money? Here, I'm going to try this again. If a truck needs gas to run, Nico, what does a worker need to run? So that makes the worker a what? If a worker eats food, what are they here?
Restaurants.
What's that?
It needs to go to restaurants.
No, that this restaurant is not a bullet. Look at the bullets, guys. A consumer. So the worker is more than just a worker. They're more than just a resource. They're a consumer. And if you're consuming, then you're paying into the economy. Okay? You're paying into the economy by consuming food, right? Right? A worker also pays into the economy by doing what? What's happening to the worker? Here's a hint. Gross, net. Tai, you should be able to answer that. You too. You're in the careers class. You got gross, you got net. What's gross mean?
Disgusting.
No. This is in terms of the economy. So what does gross mean?
Yearly.
What's that?
Yearly.
It's related to, you got gross yearly pay. What's your gross pay? Your pay, your monthly pay, okay? It can be yearly, monthly, daily. It doesn't matter. Your pay in relation to what?
Ouch.
Time.
Nope.
Wait, you pay.
Your gross pay is your pay before deductions and taxes. Your net pay is your pay after deductions and taxes. So as a consumer, as a worker, Nico, are you playing with your phone? Wait, did you say you were just checking? You were checking, then you were playing with your phone. Because I believe checking the time is an aspect of play. You're using your phone. That was my point. We're using your phone during class time. There's nothing to guess. It's either a yes or a no. Please don't. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay. So, your net pay. As a worker, how are you paying into the economy? Besides producing, besides consuming, how do you pay into the economy? Guys, we talked about this earlier. All those workers who live in the El Dorado Hills.
Pay taxes.
Taxes, there you go.
That wake me up for that?
No. I woke you up to explain what gross and net meant. And the fact that, it's ironic that you'd ask if I had to wake you up at
I was
all.
not supposed to be sleeping classes either.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Not
You
really.
are allowed to sleep in my
No.
class because I'm such a nice guy.
Exactly.
Not regular classes. You
Is
can't.
this a regular class?
I'm just saying.
Listen, I was in lots of regular classes and I slept a lot.
I'm just saying.
It depends on the teacher.
I'm just saying, I could sleep.
Alright, you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, more tea.
Wow, now I gotta erase all that crap.
So Mr.
Thank you.
Wald, you have.
Hey, you guys are gonna have to recreate this, by the way.
Heck no.
Yeah.
Take a picture.
No, not this. Your own
Oh.
at some point.
You
Yeah.
have to call Ms. Baker and have it sent to your server.
Okay.
Or
I'll wait till 4 today.
Bye, have a good weekend, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you. You do the same. Humble as should be.
I